This is the Port of Oakland. This is the 5th largest container port in the country. And every day ships come in from Asia bringing goods that are manufactured that are going to get sold in stores like Walmart, Target, Home Depot. The ships pull up here, the cranes unload them, and they come down and the containers get put on trucks. Every single thing that comes through the Port of Oakland gets put on a truck.
Well, in my family, we start very early driving the trucks. We always have trucks in the family. I first started driving when I was 15 years old. And I got my license in Mexico when I was, my commercial driver license when I was 18.
I always wanted to be a truck driver, and the dream came true. I'm happy to be here. You know, it's a country where we all get the opportunity, you know, well, we come here for a better life. It's been tough because I haven't been able to go back to my country, you know, to see our family. But that's part of life.
Before deregulation, driving a truck at this port or any port in the country was a good living wage job. It's a union job. Trucking companies paid for clean trucks and hired people from the neighborhoods to drive those trucks. And you could raise a family, buy a home, and retire driving a truck at the port.
I started it because my younger brother used to work for one of the transportation companies here about 20 years ago. And he told me that the business was pretty good. So I bought my truck here and I started working for another transportation company. But everything changed. It's been very different.
The trucking system we see out here is much different than it was in 1980. The free market forces pressured the federal government to deregulate trucking. Much as we've seen how deregulation has come down on homeowners and small businesses today, the same could be said for trucking.
I sent my wife and my baby to Pakistan, where is my wife from, because my expense of the house was $1,500 rent, plus the electricity and everything. And I had insurance that I'm paying $600 a month, plus the fuel that is about somewhere $1,400. So I couldn't manage all that.
I'm just about to put some diesel on the truck. I just paid $200 for this reason because the tanks, you can see them, you might see it later, they're so big. And I can't afford it to fill those tanks all the way up. So that's why I always pay $200, $150, you know, it depends how we do with the money. I would like to keep it full all the time, but I can't. So that's one of the problems, you know.
You have these companies like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and they bring these containers through the port. They contract with trucking companies to haul those containers. And the trucking companies then contract with truck drivers who are hired as independent contractors. Now there are hundreds of trucking companies operating here at the port. And they're little tiny companies that are competing for business from some of the biggest companies in the world. The way they get business is by undercutting each other, by underbidding. And that's created this race to the bottom that has crashed onto the backs of the truck drivers and the West Oakland community here.
If we get sick for a day or two, or even a week, so who's going to feed our family? Nobody. And still we have to be responsible for all the maintenance on our trucks. Insurance, registration, and I mean, you probably have an idea what it is to be responsible for a car, but on the trucks, it's twice or triple. It's more expensive, you know, to keep it going. And when the business being the way it is, we can handle it no more.
This is the trip they pay as the $39. That could take you 3 to 4 hours just to get that done job. That $40 costs you sometimes 3 to 4 hours. I mean, it's not all the time, but most of the time, you know. But it doesn't, I mean, hour is always there. 1 hour it takes you for sure to get in and out and take care of that job. But what we are in a situation, like we are independent contractors and we waste our time like that, we don't make any money, you know.
While they're waiting in line, they're not getting paid. They're sitting in their old dirty trucks because if you make $8 an hour, that's all you can afford to buy. Those dirty trucks are belching out smoke. The drivers are breathing it and getting sick. And right out here, right on the other side of all these containers is West Oakland.
This is the house that my grandmother and her sister, when they came here, stayed in, and we stayed here too. We're actually sitting on the port right here. We're only blocks away. Down in the projects, there were a lot of women who had breast cancer, or people that had cancer or heart attacks and asthma in the area. And for years, the women would sit around and they would say it's something, you know, it's something about the projects, you know, there's a lot of ladies getting cancer around here.
The residents of West Oakland are paying a staggering price in terms of their health just for living in West Oakland. And there are reports out there by the Alameda County Department of Public Health that residents in West Oakland can expect to live about 10 years less than other residents within Oakland living in more affluent areas.
This is my dad's sister, Marlene, and we're my auntie, Marlene. We're here in West Oakland, and you guys had asked me about my aunt that passed away. I thought she was 40-some months, that she was actually in her 30s when she passed away from breast cancer.
Oh, that was my big sister. I loved her. My mother had 10 kids. She had 7 girls and 3 boys. So we had a big family, but I miss her a whole lot.
The levels of diesel soot are about 5 times the background in Oakland, and Oakland is a large urban area, and so that's kind of shocking when you think about it, that an urban area would have a concentration of 5 times this toxic soot in just one small neighborhood.
And so many people down here have died from cancer, you know. There's been quite a few people that have passed from cancer. A friend of mine right now has cancer. And then two other friends of mine just passed away with cancer down here. You know, they've been saying it was pollution from the trucks that are making people sick. And they said, you know, like on the windows and things, all the blackness from the, you know, from the trucks is terrible.
My family's been here all their life. They're still here. And here it is. I grew up down here. And for years, none of us ever knew what the problem was because we didn't know where to turn or who to talk to, and there was no one saying anything was wrong with the area. Around most of the houses on the window, like this house here, you see the black around the window. Well, when we were growing up, we used to rub our hands on the, you know, around the windows, write our names around the windows. So when I started working at the port and I found out what it was, I said, that stuff's been down there since we were kids.
The community of West Oakland faces an asthma rate of about 1 in 5 children, which is one of the highest rates in the entire state of California. And so we see people suffering throughout West Oakland every day from the impacts of the diesel pollution coming from the Port of Oakland and all of the trucks traveling through those neighborhoods.
I feel sorry and feel bad about all these kids, you know, especially the parents, because, see, they're not even responsible, you know, for all the situation, but they're the one that paying the price. Why? All because of the broken system.
If we envision West Oakland as a toxic hotspot, the hotspot within the hotspot is the cab of the trucks. We see levels up to 25 times the background of soot levels within the cabs of these trucks. How do we know this? Well, we actually took an air monitor into the cabs of some trucks last summer and we took some measurements. So the levels that we saw inside the cab of Abdul's truck today were about 2 to 3 times higher than what we would typically find in West Oakland along the busy 7th Street trucking corridor. The average levels that we tend to see in West Oakland are already extremely unhealthy, leading to cancerous hundreds of times what is considered acceptable by the environmental protection agencies. That's because the levels of soot tend to concentrate inside of the cabs of trucks while drivers are working.
I get married in 2003, and my wife came to United States in 2004, well, 2005 actually, and then obviously my baby came. She is so much to me, and now I'm just trying to make a living and hoping that my baby have a different future than me. This is my baby 8 months ago. I took this picture, and this is after that, but she went out the country, and I just tried to get her picture and just see the difference. If you know she's growing, I just want to see the difference between when she was with me and now she's out. And, I see that within 6 months she's grown up already. We'd rather be together than, you know, be away. So I decided they can come back, whatever happens, we can go through together.
Before becoming a truck driver, I was working as a laborer back in LA, where I had insurance. And that's why I'm supporting this campaign, because I know what it is to have insurance. I know what it is to be in the union. My daughter, see, I myself lost 3 fingers in an accident at work. But thanks to God I had insurance, you know, they took care of everything. 6 months after that, I would say about 6 months or 1 year, my daughter had a tumor on her right knee, and she had to have 9 operations. But also, you know, I had insurance, you know, where the first bill was about $40,000 or $50,000. So I didn't have no nickel, and good thing I didn't have nothing to worry about because the insurance took care of it. And that's why I'm doing all this, even though I might get in trouble, which I hope not, because it's not easy, you know, to talk on cameras, you know, to be volunteer, but I'm doing it because I love my kids and I love all my workmates, you know, because there's a lot of drivers going through sickness, you know, or their children get sick or their wife, and they have no benefits.
Are you going to vote this year?
I did actually. Matter of fact, my first vote, because I don't want to see the system right here running like this. Somebody has to make a change. I've been a citizen for 10 years, almost 9 years, I believe, and I never vote, but this time I vote actually.
The Coalition for Clean and Safe Ports has brought together the truck drivers in the community. We've had house meetings, town hall meetings, one-on-one conversations. This campaign is fundamentally about changing the way the Port of Oakland does business. See, the port is an economic engine for the region, and it can either lift people up or push people down.
Between the company owners and the port commissioners, they got the power to do this because there's a lot of contamination for our kids, our community, and also will bring a lot more job opportunities for all of us. So I thank you guys for your support. We appreciate it, and let's keep on going because we all want good jobs and clean air. God bless you.
The reason we go to the meetings because that way, you know, they can hear as the drivers that we don't want to be independent truck drivers, we want to be employees. So, and we need to be there because we're the ones that are facing all the problems, you know. Even though we got all the support from all these people from different group communities, from churches, you know, stuff like that. But we need to be there, you know, because we are the ones that are delivering the message to these people.
Hi, my name is Porfirio Diaz. I want to thank the board for the opportunity to speak with you. I had to cancel the health insurance for my family, including my 3 children, who are 17 years old, 11 years old, and 6 years old. In November, I spent almost $12,000 to repair my truck's engine. I paid with my credit card, and I still owe that money. In February, I could no longer pay my mortgage. As a consequence, I lost my home and is now in foreclosure. My daughter accepted to UC Berkeley during her junior year of high school. She's a very smart little lady. I hope she will be able to get financial aid because I cannot afford to pay for her education. I drive a 1998 truck. Even with a grant, I cannot afford to buy a retrofit for $25,000 or to replace the truck that will cost $130,000 as an average, plus the financing. Unless there are changes at the port, I will no longer be able to exist as an independent trucker. That's why I support the Teamsters and the Coalition for Clean and Safe Port campaign. Thank you.
The Port of Oakland, as a landlord, has the power to set standards for anybody that wants to operate on their property. What we're pushing the port to do is to require any trucking company that wants to operate on their property to have a contract. And just like when you sign a contract to rent an apartment, you have to agree to meet the standards. The standards are simple. Buy and operate clean trucks. Let's clean up the air. Hire the truck drivers as employees. Let's just put an end to this independent contracting scheme that requires impoverished truck drivers to have to pay for the cost of this industry operating.
Everything that we wear, everything that we drink, whatever we use in our home is being moved by the trucks. But we're tired of working on the way we're working without having no rights, no benefits, no voice. We want them to treat us equal, with respect, with dignity, you know what I mean? Because this is 2008. And I guess as a human, you know, we all deserve that.